From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with huge news tonight about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. The breaking news is that a stimulus check is now in every U.S. state, and over this incredible broadcast, we're going to go over that check with you. But we're also going to touch on the additional checks that could be coming thereafter. And what are those additional checks? They are the Build Back Better Act. And major developing details tonight on why the Build Back Better Act would give you more money and why that report released last Friday is the big help across the board. I'll be touching on the data on that front as well. But in a night in which the housing market crash of 2022 is more pronounced, we'll be touching back on what's going on there. The stock market crash just underway, down 26%, but 40% is where we're heading. What's there? I'll have the latest. Recession starting next year. Yes, the downward spiral of this U.S. economy is just getting started, and that is why you need to get a forcible check in every U.S. state. But what did we learn over the weekend? That the labor market is getting very tight very quickly. We learned the latest data from Elon Musk at Tesla. What does it mean for you? Job security, FPUC, PUA. I have the latest details tonight. Jamie Dimon indicating that the U.S. market has a big problem and there's a storm out to sea. Who said that first? I did it back in the month of February. The data is that this economy is going to be very much different in 90 days from now. Will there be a gas deal by then? I have the latest details tonight as the president's pursuing a major deal on gasoline to bring down the price of gasoline at the pump for you. Then, when we look at the housing data, as the falling sales continue to erode, the numbers could get worse. The latest on that tonight. Then, auto sales continue to plummet. And across the board, the concerns at issue is what would be next for this U.S. economy. What would be basically next is a question, a mark of the 90-day period. The 90-day period shows the spiraling down this U.S. economy, and there's no time to wait. That's why you need to get a forced stimulus check now in every U.S. state. That forced stimulus check is available, and step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. And over this incredible video, we're going to go over the incredible details of those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Step 1, go into this video. Step 2, become a member. And get ready for America's most watched show for financial news in prime time. It's Evenings LALATE for June 6, 2022, starting right now. And good evening, everybody. It's a beautiful night here for June 6, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Hope you are good. You know, in taping opening bleeds like that or opening teasers, it takes a lot of effort. And in a night in which there is so much breaking news like tonight, I actually had to retape that opener 3 times. That shows you how much data, breaking news, stimulus I'm going to be going over this 1-hour broadcast. A lot of details and a lot of information, and stay with me over this 1-hour broadcast. We got a lot to go over tonight. The situation on the housing, the labor, the auto, the travel industry is getting very bad very quickly. Elon Musk gave his guidance on that on Saturday. I'll look at his guidance and why the labor shortage is going to turn into labor layoffs and hiring freezes. This is a dramatic change of the situation in just a few weeks and why some analysts are not ready. Then gasoline, we all need a relief of the pump. And could that relief at the pump be coming from Joseph Biden? I have the breaking news on that tonight. The housing situation is the dog of the market. The housing market is clearly upheaval right now. Housing market crash of 2022 underway. But that's not the only market. The auto sales are down 24%. And when you look at the situation for travel and leisure tonight, I have that data as really poor as well. Recession will be coming next year, but do not wait for the downward spiral then. The crashes that are upon us tonight are going to be covered. Housing, auto, travel, leisure, stocks. What does this mean for you? It means you need to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You can't wait because the data is so weak and that the economy is going to be so much poorer as a contracting, and that the data is going to be so much weaker in 90 days from now that you can't wait. Step 1, become a member. Step 2, get the incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. And step 3, stay with me over this 1-hour broadcast. We have a lot of money to go over. We start tonight with that. A forced stimulus check is in every state. Thank goodness there is. And I found it for viewership of this channel. It came out in the month of March. It's a lot of money, averaging $85,000, which is a great sum of money. It would last you a lot of time. And you need to grab it tonight, because it doesn't matter if you listen to me or Elon Musk or Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan Chase, or Wall Street analysts. They all say basically what I've been saying since February. By September, this U.S. economy is going to be very bleak. Going to be very bleak. I don't want you to get tied up on the words recession or something else. I just want you to know it's not going to be the same robust economy it is right now. And that is why you need to get these forced stimulus checks tonight. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. You don't need to be focusing on Build Back Better Act, because the stimulus stampede 90 days out from now will be very pronounced. What's going to happen? First, people are going to be laid off. Second, there's going to be hiring freezes. Third, businesses are going to shutter. And what will people likely do? They'll likely say, where is my unemployment assistance? I'm an independent contractor, so where's my PUA? Doesn't exist anymore. Where is my FPUC? That $600 that went on top of my UI, my unemployment benefits every week, does not exist anymore. I'm a small business owner. I'm losing my business. Where's that grant from SBA? Does not exist anymore. This money exists right now. You need to get it, and I'm going to show you how to get it. And it's not a few $100s. It's upwards of $80,000. What are you watching on this channel? A channel that does 3 things in every video. Gives you where the economy is right now, where it's going, and how you grab that money right tonight. I don't just report the money. I show you how to get it. And that's coming up later in this recording. But let's start with the other part of forced stimulus. There's 2 parts of forced stimulus. And viewers of this channel understand the differences. The first part is the part that has money right now. And I'm getting that later for you in this recording. A forced stimulus check is landing in every U.S. state. There's a different way to get stimulus on top of that, and that is by Congress. That hasn't finalized yet. That is, of course, the Build Back Better Act. And tonight we have a lot of great news about the Build Back Better Act, and negotiations are underway between Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer. He's majority leader from New York, and the other is the senator from West Virginia. The negotiations upon the Build Back Better Act passed in the House back in 2021, sent to the Senate. 3 provisions, 3 add-ons that would give you $15,000 to $80,000 of checks on top of those incredible checks I'm getting for you later in this recording. But the great news is that the one of 2 provisions that Joe Manchin is very much against, because he believes it's running out of money, is not running out of money. We learned in a brand new, wonderful report released from this person, Janet Yellen. Janet Yellen released a major report going into the weekend that said that Medicare and Social Security will not run out of money for many years to come. This is breaking news and huge. Why? Because of 2 provisions of Build Back Better Act, or 2 subject matters, I should say. Joe Manchin's against them. One is anything that expands Medicare or Social Security Administration, because he says they're going to run out of money. Now, if they're not running out of money, he may not be opposed to spending the money. These are the Bernie Sanders provisions: dental, vision, hearing, and more. Want to see the provisions firsthand? Let's look at them together as a family, starting right now. The Build Back Better Act has 3 classes of checks and 3 add-ons of checks, and those incredible checks are huge. Let's look at the status of those checks based upon that major report released by Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary, last week. In that Build Back Better Act, the 3 add-ons are, first, $25,000 of free home health of money for the purchase of your first home. That survives. That is a provision that Joe Manchin would likely support, because the housing industry is really at an upheaval right now. Mortgage rates out of control from 2% in the month of February to 5.5%. No one can afford a home. No one can afford the higher price levels. That's likely to survive. The $250 billion of free home health care. That's a second add-on. This is where it gets interesting now. This is a provision Joe Manchin said he's against, because he says that Medicare is running out of money. Don't spend more money on it. Well, if Medicare is not running out of money, then maybe he'll do it. That's $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Next, MSC. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 6 months is what the legislators represent they would put in there. That's likely to survive. That is the third add-on of checks. Now remember, it's not a lot of money. And I'm going to say just $7,000. Yes, I'm going to say it just. Because late in this recording, those four stimulus checks I'm going to get you in every U.S. state are not a mere $7,000. They are upwards of $80,000 checks. They're coming up later as recording, so I want you to be laser focused on big money, not small sums of money. Now let's go back to those individual clusters from Joe Manchin, Chuck Schumer in the Build Back Better Act and see which would survive and how much money you would get. Now remember, the entire Build Back Better Act gives you about $15,000 to $80,000 of incredible checks across this Build Back Better Act. Let's look at the individual clusters and see whether they'd survive. And that first cluster, hazard pay, absolutely would survive. That's the Earned Income Tax Credit for my essential workers. One more year, established on the third stimulus. Wonderful, wonderful news. $4,000 of elder care, $4,000 of care for young children. That would survive. Nutrition, sure, that would survive. $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. That would likely survive, so long as it does not implicate any of the provisions that Joe Manchin does not like for energy. When we turn to the second cluster of checks, home repairs, not in there. That is now a stimulus check in every U.S. state. It's coming up later in this video. It's check A. And paid leave, not going to survive. This is a provision that Joe Manchin is very much against. This has nothing to do with Medicare. I don't believe it's going to survive. But the breaking news tonight is that if Joe Manchin sees that report from Janet Yellen, then his provision on cluster number 3 would be dramatically different. Seniors checks, farmers checks, independent contractors checks would all survive. Free internet checks, of course, but it's the dental, vision, hearing, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55, and the Medicaid gap fix that provides a workaround plan in 12 Republican holdout states. Those are the provisions that are changed tonight because of this person's report. For the first time in a generation, Janet Yellen has now released a report from the Department of Treasury that says that the incredible Social Security Administration is not running out of money for 75 more years. Whoa. So this is a big shocker. One, we've not seen this report since the 1980s. Yes, since the 1980s. Number two, we always thought that Medicare, Social Security, would run out of money in 5 years, 10 years. Nope, not true, says Janet Yellen. 75 years. So this is a game changer for the negotiations between Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin. Because suddenly there's a reason to support the Medicare expansion of Build Back Better Act because nothing is running out of money. Now let's go over the data point and the transitional and the calendaring of the Build Back Better Act. They want to get this done before the midterm elections. They make it very clear. Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer say that on the record in the last few days. So what does that mean for your receipt of the money? When would you get these Build Back Better Act checks? Now remember, the 4 stimulus checks I got for you later in this recording are today. Viewers have been getting them since the month of March. Thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. Talking now about the Build Back Better checks that come from Congress. When would you get those? So they need to get them to your hands before you vote in the midterm elections. And you vote not in November, but likely 3 months earlier, September. So they need to get you the checks in your hand by no later than September before you vote. To get them in your hand before September, when they have to have the vote. They could pull it off in September, but it would be very tight. I'd rather have them do it in July. That's what I'd rather have them do. Not saying they have to do it in July. I'd just rather have them do it. Why? Because August is a half a month, a work month. They don't do the second half of the month. And because September's really tight. I mean, you got a quick turnaround time of just a few days. So negotiations would have to wrap up now in June, then get it drafted to a bill, called for a vote, and get it out the door and finalized in August. They can do it, and they say they want to do it. There's 2 things that support Build Back Better Act. 1, the midterm elections. 2, they say they want to do it. Joe Manchin, Chuck Schumer say they want to do it. But wait, there's a third item that really supports the Build Back Better Act, and it is the bad economic data. The White House, myself, Treasury, and Jay Powell, and corporate America all agree that one of the most important economic indicators when determining the strength of the U.S. economy is the labor numbers. And those labor numbers tonight are not good. The ones really great, they're imploding across the board. This is major support tonight for Build Back Better Act. Let me go over the details of this starting right now. The White House has always put its hat on the fact that unemployment is really low and that there's a labor shortage, shows that there's a lot of jobs compared to the number of people. That's not the situation tonight. The situation tonight is that since the month of February, all now to the month of June, everything is flipped. And what I want you to understand is if you're watching this channel, you're going to see a status point tonight. If you're in the live chat, because I'm going to have you interact with me in just a second, get your fingers ready, you're going to see the status tonight. You're not going to see the status from February. What's going on? A lot of Wall Street analysts, even today in June, are using February data to describe the state of the U.S. economy's labor market. And it's really wrong. Let me tell you what they're saying. Number one, they're saying there's not very many layoffs. They're saying that there's a lot of job security. They're saying that the number of unemployment claims are not that bad. And then they say that the labor salary increase is really good. Here's some of the quotes that we have in recent days. Job gains across the country are slowing, but fewer workers are actually losing their jobs, says analyst Christopher Ruckey, chief economist at FWD Bonds. True or untrue? Absolutely untrue. His comment's absolutely incorrect. He says there's no sign of company layoffs. It means that the labor market isn't really loosening up as much as federal officials are hoping. True? Really untrue. He's basically saying that labor is really strong, that everyone has a job, everyone's keeping the job, that there's no concern about labor loss or loss of employment, and it's literally actually the opposite. That was February data, and yet he's using February data, and the quote is basically a quote just a few days ago. That's not the situation tonight. And why do we know it? It started a month ago when Walmart reported corporate earnings, and in their corporate earnings report said, we have too many employees on the floor. We have too many employees on the floor. Does that mean there was layoffs that followed thereafter? They did not announce official layoffs. But immediately I went to the live chat starting about 2 weeks ago. And tonight we're going to do it right now again. Get ready on the live chat. Do you, more or less, is going to be the potential two answers, more or less. Do you see more or less employees at the checkout in your big box retailer when you go to check out and pay for your goods? When you go to check out at the end of your big box retailer or small retail store, do you see more employees at checkout or less? 100% of viewers in the last few days have been saying less. And the only ones that don't say less, they say zero. They say literally zero. They say, no, I go in there. A few weeks ago, it was 3 people when I go to check out. Now it's 1 or 0. They just have a machine to check out. The labor situation has changed dramatically. And I got to tell you, you've learned, and we've learned as a community on this channel, Purple Power Community, you are the eyes and ears of the American economy more than any economist. Economists just rely upon data, and the data, if the data is delayed, if the data is imperfect, then it's a false information. What you see is true. You go in the stores and you say, I don't see many employees. There were a lot of employees just a few weeks ago. They're gone. Let's make it even more clear. Here's the next question. Yes or no is the answers, potential answers. Have you heard from friends and family, neighbors, or anyone else that lives in your community that people have been laid off? Answer yes or no. Viewers say yes. Viewers say people are being laid off. Now, this is where you and I were as a community a week ago. When I said, I'm not buying the labor numbers that are coming out. People are being laid off. They do not have that job security, and that the corporate bottom line is really bad. What happened after you and I was reporting that data? Our data, your eyes and ears, was confirmed by Wall Street. The data came in when the comments from Jamie Dimon started. Jamie Dimon saying there's a storm out to sea, just like I've been saying there's a storm out to sea. Actually, I say storm out to sea. He says hurricane down the road. Same analogy. I've been saying since February. He started saying it last week. What is he talking about? He's talking about the labor situation, among many other issues, is going to change dramatically. What's at issue? When Walmart says we have too many employees on the floor, the next statement from Walmart would likely be, we're letting some of you go. After that, it would sound like we have major layoffs, just as opposed to a few people here and there. Major layoffs. The statement after that would then be something along the lines of a hiring freeze, and the statement after that potentially could be store closures. That's the progression of what an eroding labor market could look like over the next 2 years. But we're already hitting. Here we go. Elon Musk, over the weekend, confirmed basically what you and I have been reporting. He said, the financial markets are dramatically downward spiraling. I don't like what it looks like. I don't like how this economy looks like. And I cannot have the current labor market workforce that I have at Tesla any longer. So what did he announce last Saturday? 10% layoff approximately at Tesla of existing employees. Gone. Layoff number one. And then that F, word. Not that one, the other one. Freeze. Hiring freeze. Hiring freeze is the type of terminology you hear in a recession. It basically says, don't come to knock on our door for a job. We're not hiring anyone for many years. And that is the type of language you see during a recession. And the concern is that you and I are on point. You and I are talking about the same language. But some analysts are really out to left field. And the analysts are sometimes doing the following in the last 2 days. They're saying, oh, the markets are really good. It's just the housing market that's really bad. And that we're really not going to recession. I just see a downward spiral. But the labor market's really good. This is how they talk. The labor market's really good. Everyone has a job. And they literally say stuff like, the amount you're being paid for salary has gone up really well. So it's offsetting the inflationary environment. All of this is totally untrue. All of this is totally untrue. And the situation for that is that it all supports the Build Back Better Act. Now, what does this mean for you and also as a viewer? As you're watching this video tonight, you have to understand what it's going to look like in 90 days from now. In 90 days from now, people are going to lose their job. And they may have been a viewer of this channel like you are, but may have not been around for a few weeks. And then they're going to show up and say, hey, LALATE, do you have for me some PUA? I'm an independent contractor. I just got laid off. The answer will be no, I don't have PUA. It doesn't exist anymore. That stimulus package is ended. LALATE, what about that FPUC, that extra $600 per week that goes on top of your existing benefits? I got laid off. Can I have some of that? No, doesn't exist anymore. Small business owners are going to lose their businesses. And what are they going to say? Do you have an SBA grant, some EIDL grant, some of that EIDL loan, some SPO loan? No, it doesn't exist anymore. For the first time tonight on E News LA, I want to make something very clear. I often cover subject with you, but I often don't cover what other people are saying about the subject matter. And I'm going to have to make this very clear to you. I don't think that the universe of broadcast media has made very clear that FPUC, PUA, EIDL, LWA, PPP ended. I don't think most Americans understand these programs ended. I don't think most people think that these programs don't exist. And if they think it existed back then maybe they think it could be reinvented again or reactivated. No. And so what's going to happen in 90 days from now? This is what Diamond and LALATE are talking about. I call it the storm out to sea. He calls it the hurricane down the road. What I want you to understand tonight, and this is brand new tonight, is I don't want you to get tied up on the words recession, stagflation. I just want you to understand 9 days from now is going to look very, very different. It's September. And what's going to happen by September? By September, you're going to see major upheaval in the labor market. That's number one. In 90 days from now, the data that has been delayed because it takes a 90-day escrow to close a home will be coming in on the housing market. And that housing market by September will be in full 2022 downward crash. The housing market is currently tonight in a crash mode, but a lot of people may not think it is there. Why not? Because the points at issue have not really come to where they should be. Case in point, number one, in the housing market, a lot of the home builders are actually increasing the price of the homes. Ridiculous? Absolutely ridiculous. They are actually increasing the price of the homes when their housing sales are down 17% year to date. What's going on? People aren't buying homes. They can't afford the homes. The mortgage rates are surging out of control, upwards of 5.5%. So the buyers are not there. So what do the home builders do? Increase the price so that people are really not there. Yeah, illogical. Also, an issue, auto sales dramatically down 24% year to date. The auto sales market will continue to erode. Why? Because the auto dealers are actually increasing the price of the cars at this very moment. Really? No one is buying a car. They don't have the money to buy the car. They don't want a gas-powered car either because they can't afford the price of gasoline. And the auto sales people are increasing the price of the car that no one wants? Yes. Tonight, we have a very similar version of that as well, and that is the travel industry. Travel industry has betted on the following analysis. Number one, let's increase the price of the airfare by 200%. That's what they've been doing. They've been increasing the price of the airfare 200% so that the domestic round-trip fare in the United States is now upwards of $400 to $500. Do you think people are paying for that? They did over Memorial Day weekend, but they're not going to do it indefinitely. Family of four is not going to pay $2,000 to travel from here to Arizona, Los Angeles to Arizona, for a family of four. $2,000. Yeah, no one's going to do that. Then are they going to spend, $600 on a hotel room that was $150 last year? No, no one's going to do that. And that travel leisure industry is going to get hit badly because they're just raising and raising and raising the prices. And no one's going to pay those prices as we fall down dramatically. Bear market is also the issue at hand. The bear market has been really sort of one of those topics of discussions among the millennials that think that this is a dip of the market. It's not. It's a stock market crash. It's a crypto crash. The crypto winner's upon us. We saw that crypto winner reported on this channel no less than 3 weeks ago, but it was confirmed over the weekend. As Cameron Tyler Winklevoss has now laid off 10% of the workforce at Gemini. That is a cryptocurrency exchange that was used on this channel for many months on our crypto show. They expect a crypto winter to continue as a correctional phase will continue for a while. In the tech sector, the downward spiral of the U.S. economy is very pronounced tonight. As continued tech erosion started with Snap's corporate earnings weeks ago, and stocks are still down. Zoom is still down. Tesla's down. Facebook is still down. Job growth, not particularly there either. When we look at the job numbers are just not robust. And this is, as some analysts want to sell you on the misnomer that the job market's really good. Let's go over those really bad job numbers tonight. First, we have the following job creation numbers. They were supposed to come in for the month of May 2022 at 300,000 new jobs. They came in at nearly 128,000 new jobs created. It was a miss by nearly 60%. Expecting 300,000 new jobs created in the month of May, we only produced 128,000 private sector. Major fall across the board. Then when you look at the new jobless claims numbers, it was 200,000 last Thursday. 200,000, folks, that's not good. This Thursday, we'll see more about those numbers as well. And we're not done there yet because this Friday, we will have the numbers coming in for the CPI. The Consumer Price Index numbers released this Friday. And boy, folks, this is going to be a major read. You and I are going to watch this number. Why? Because if that number is too high, then people are going to get scared. The Consumer Price Index number released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday, gauges inflation. And Wall Street is expecting the number to come in at 8.2% compared to the month before at 8.3%, basically flat. What are analysts saying? Like Art Hogan, beloved analyst at National Securities. He says that if it comes in at the money, then we're fine. But if it comes in too high, we're going to get spooked. And that's exactly what's at issue. That inflation cannot come high because Jay Powell is trying to get it down. A lot of major changing forces across the board. Meantime, the situation for gasoline is getting very bad by the hour. If you watch the 3 o'clock show on Afternoons LA Tonight, I detailed almost 10 minutes of what's going on the gasoline front. You know, Afternoons LA at 3 o'clock is a brand new show every day. And boy, folks, that gasoline story is out of control. The takeaway tonight is we do not have a deal yet. We could have a deal. It would be a flip-flop on our position on human rights. Potentially doing a deal with Saudi Arabia would potentially bring the gasoline down to its lowest levels pre-COVID. But the deal hasn't been inked yet, and it will be signaled as close to when we see if Joe Biden gets on the plane. He says he's going to get on the plane and go right to Saudi Arabia and do a deal on oil. That deal is not something I'm going to rest my hat on. First, Saudi Arabia is not confirmed he's going to do a deal with Joe Biden. Number two, I don't see where the rest of the Democratic Party will endorse Joe Biden to do a deal with a country that we've already labeled as a human rights violator. It just doesn't make sense. If you want to learn more about it, watch the afternoon show. But let me go back to you. With all this uncertainty, all this confusion, all this downward spiraling of this U.S. economy, there's a glimmer of great news. It's actually a tsunami of great news. And that tsunami of great news is there is a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. That forced stimulus check in every U.S. state was found by me, and you can get it. And you're going to get it with me during the second half of this commercial break. We're going to go over that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, married couple, with children, without children, on benefits like SSI or SSDI, rent, own, absolutely. Let's go over the details. First, subscribe. Second, become a member. And then after the commercial break, we're going to go over that incredible membership newsletter and how to get these huge checks. Then we're going to touch back on this recession and why the downward spiral in this U.S. economy in 90 days is going to be so pronounced, and why the stimulus stampede on this channel will be so prolific that you cannot wait to become a member today. Because in 90 days from now, people are going to be after this money left and right because the other stimulus packages of 2020, like FPUC and PUA and LWA and also EIDL, are gone. This is here, and we're going to get all these incredible sums of money after the commercial break. Become a member during the commercial break, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as America's most beloved and most watched show for financial news in prime time continues. It's Evenings. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now in the big second half of June 6, 2022's Evenings LA from the shores of Santa Monica, California. The great news is that a forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and this was the result of you, me, and the community of this channel. How do we get here? Where do these checks come from? What are these checks for? How do you get them? And what are we watching in tonight's recording? If you're new to this channel, let me tell you what you're watching. You're watching a channel that delivers the news of where this economy is, tells you where the economy is going, and then get your checks. It's different than reporting you the checks. And at this part of this recording, let me go over what happened in the month of March. At the month of March, viewers of this channel were watching the Build Back Better Act negotiations, or lack of them. And they said, Elliot, I need a check. Can you give me a check for a stimulus check? And I look high and low, and I found it. Stimulus checks can come from several different sources. They can come from Congress. Hasn't happened yet. The negotiations are not done with the Build Back Better Act. Can come from executive order. I found them. And can come from your states. I found them. Then the eligibility is always the issue. But I got your checks for you. Single individual, $75,000 less annual income, you qualify. Married couple, $150,000 or less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, retirements, RB or SSA, go get it. Single, married, with children, without children, rent, own, every U.S. state, we got it. And remember, when I get your checks, I'm not focused on puny little $600, $400 checks. I want to get you monster checks so that you have financial independence for many, many months to come. And I found them. And with that, let's go over all these incredible checks one at a time. Hopefully you became a member during the commercial break. The first check is $6,500 to $12,000. Yes, it's a wonderful check. It is check A. Look at that incredible check. A forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Go get it. And it is just incredible. $75,000 less, a single individual, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, RB, go get it. It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. How do you get this incredible check? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, go down that membership newsletter, delivered to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system, and find that incredible check. When you see that incredible check, check A, you click it. There it is, check A. It has a link. You go right in and apply. Yes, it's an online application. Yes, it's very simple. You can do it with your phone. You are routed into the federal website, then you choose your state, then you choose the homeowners weatherizing grant, and you are done. Congratulations. But you're not done there yet. No, you're going to get a check B. $15,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You are not missing that graphic. It is $80,000 forced stimulus check. It's called the homeowners grant check. Single, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. It's called the homeowners grant check. How do you get it? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Have you become a member? Are you watching the video? Have you become a member yet? You gotta go do it right this second. What are you waiting around? This money's not gonna be around forever. You can't wait. Step 3, get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. And then when you open that membership newsletter, go down to check B, click the link. There you go. Viewers are averaging $66,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus checks from check B. Let's pause for a second. Look at this number, $15,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus check. It's astronomical. There's nothing in the Build Back Better Act that pays you $80,000. There is nothing by MSC in Build Back Better Act that pays you $80,000. These are monster checks. This is why I find them for you so that you can get it. Average viewer of this channel is getting $66,000 to $80,000. And you're going to apply right in that incredible newsletter. But you're not going to be done there yet. No. You're going to go get Check C. Check C is an astronomical MSC check, averaging $2,000 a month for 12 months monthly stimulus check. Renters, go get it. Check C. Rent, utilities, mortgages, this is more. It's tracking about $45,000 on average for viewers of this channel. How do you get that? Step 1, go become a member. Step 2, go down that membership newsletter. You find Check C. And at Check C, I tell you who to call, what to say, and when to say it. It brings us up to really what happened in December 2020, because that's when I first started getting the information to viewers of how to get Check C, and you got the Check C. I didn't get the Check C. You got it when I taught you about it. It was called on this channel at the time purple. It was before third stimulus. It was the end of 2020. There was not a lot of money out there. You needed money. It was the holidays. It was December 2020. You had the heating oil bills going through the roof. You had the rent problems. You said, Ally, can you find me some money? I did. $250,000. I said, here you go. This is how you do it. These are places to call. This is what you say. And you killed it. Tyrone and his family 4 out of Boston getting $15,000 at the time, when there was not a lot of money in Boston, paid all his money for rent to the next year, 2021. You killed it. But we got lucky for 2 other things. 1, at the time, I said, I'm teaching you a skill set. I'm teaching you a skill set because skills are what I teach on this channel. I'm teaching you a skill set of how to do this. A lot of people at the time were not used to picking up the phone, calling about anything. And then they were. Number 2, I said, get ready. Because I have a piece of legislation on my desk, it's almost exclusive, that if this becomes law in next year, you're going to be really ready because you have the skill set. It did. And I coined the expression, third stimulus. Third stimulus repeated purple, became third stimulus, is now Check C, and it had astronomical sums of money in there. Rent, utilities, mortgages, is more, and you, with that skill set, were ready to pounce. It's all about the skills. Me showing you the information, me training you, you doing it, and you killing it. I said at the time you can get about $15,000 from third stimulus. I was wrong, because the average viewer of this channel got $45,000. This is now Check C. Let's look at the incredible success stories. This should be you. Don't wait to become a member. Here we go. Look at this incredible sums of money for rent, all the way from $20,000 up to an astronomical $27,000. Here's the utilities. Wow. Mark's brother-in-law getting $15,000 for utilities. So let's look at the SNAP. Incredible. Huge. Mark's brother-in-law getting $25,000 a year over 10 years, $250,000. So let's look at the combos. There's Nisi at $23,000. She's getting about $8,000 every few weeks. She's over $50,000. Mark, he was at $32,000 at the time. I told Mark, go get more money. What did he do? He went from $32,000 to $50,000 to $100,000. And then he got Check B at $66,000. Yes, Mark is sitting on $166,000 by watching this channel. Then Lorraine, 105. Then she went to 120. She's a member. She's getting money every few days. She's close to 150 tonight. 150,000. That's not $150. That is the true success story of this channel. You deserve this money. The skills are taught on this channel. The information is delivered to you as a member in the membership newsletter. The application, go in and get that incredible sums of money. Here's some takeaways. Number 1. Go to the Front's channel, hit that subscribe button right now. What are you waiting for? Number 2, there's a little bell on the Front's channel. Hit the bell and make sure it's set to all notifications. Number 3, become a member. The link's under the video. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP. When you're in the live chat, you'll see all the people with the Purple Hawk emoji behind their name. They're all members. Hundreds of members join every day or so. So become a member. And finally, get that newsletter delivered Monday through Friday via the YouTube alerts to members. Not the LALATE alerts, but the YouTube alerts. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll send a new YouTube alert from LALATE. Then you'll look down, it'll say newsletter. Then it'll say click here to read the post. You click and you go right in the post. Now here's 2 takeaways, things that viewers say have been very helpful to them over the weekend. First, remember the time zone. Viewers said, I forgot about the time zone. A lot of people have been forgetting about the time zone. This newsletter is delivered to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is the West Coast. Not the same time if you live on the East Coast, not the same time if you live in the Midwest. So what time is that for you? You got to look it up. And here's what I can tell you. If you're Central Standard Time, like Missouri or Illinois, you're not 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you're 9 o'clock Central. If you're the East Coast, like Georgia, New York, and New Jersey, then you're not 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, you are 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And there you go. If you would say they're really helpful. Finally, if you need to have a wonderful self-help video on how to use the newsletter, send me a private message on Facebook at facebook.com/LALATE News, and I'll send you that wonderful self-help video that explains how to use the newsletter, how to manipulate it, and more. And with that, let's go back into the data point at issue with this 90-day out period, which is so hideously important. And why I want you tonight to be laser focused on the downward spiral of this U.S. economy, not so much on the words, because I see it starting to heat up in some of the interviews, not here on this channel, but elsewhere. And I don't want you to be confused. A recession is a key economic data event. And a recession requires a certain things to happen in the economy. If the economy is in a bad state, it may not be a recession because it may not qualify for the definition of the word recession. So I don't want you to think, we're not in a recession, we're in a great economy. No, because recession is a very pronounced word. And even right now, a lot of analysts are not even agreeing upon how it's defined. It's generally defined as 2 consecutive quarters down of negative GDP growth. But some analysts and myself would say it'd have to be negative GDP growth. Basically, the number would have to be a negative GDP number. We are currently at a positive number, but we are shrinking. So the GDP is shrinking. So which definition is it? You see what I'm saying? I don't want you to get too tied up with the word recession. A lot of analysts do not want to use the word. They're scared of the word. So I don't want you to be too laser focused on it. Next, I want you to understand that certain parts of this economy are going to implode before other parts. And the one that impacts you the most is the one that is really the determining factor on stimulus. It is generally the unemployment situation. The unemployment situation is so important because unemployment is really the gauging factor for forced stimulus for the Build Back Better Act. And if you're watching the Build Back Better Act and those negotiations, you really want to know what is going on with the employment situation. They may also look at the GDP, but they're not going to really look at the housing market. They're not going to look at the stock market crash as much. If the unemployment numbers continue to be bad, which they are, then they'll certainly understand the importance of the Build Back Better Act. Later this Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Consumer Price Index number released. That'll give us a guidance on how much or how little this economy is shrinking or growing. Again, the contraction of this U.S. economy is expected to shrink throughout the rest of this year. I'm expecting us to drop to 0 GDP by the end of the year and negative thereafter. Most analysts put it at about 4% or 1 or 2%. But any of these things could be bad for you. Next, we have the uncertainty about Jay Powell and his push to solve inflation. Jay Powell, in my opinion, he's head of the Federal Reserve, will do 2 more interest rate spikes. Those 2 more interest rate spikes will be, in my opinion, 50 and 50. Then after that, it's really unclear what happens after that. He could do a quarter or just stop. But I want you to understand is that what Jay Powell is doing is not going to work. Most analysts understand it. And the implication of his stuff not working will be seen 90 days out as well. He's basically being given a carte blanche for a few more months of interest rate spikes. And then when people realize it's not working, it's going to be very, very pronounced. That's what Jamie Dimon spoke about as well. He said, basically, you know what? We understand the housing market crash is here. We understand there's a bear market. We understand stocks are down. But we really are giving a lot of leeway to Jay Powell to get this done for inflation. And it may not work. And we won't know if it doesn't work for a while. And that while is about 90 days out. September is a very pivotal day and a pivotal month for this U.S. economy. Auto could slump even further. Housing will slump even further. What you need to know is that you can't risk this. Step one is getting every single check that's available tonight. And step two is continuing to get those checks. What have I been teaching on the viewership of this channel for nearly 2 years? You get a check, and then you continue to get checks. If you haven't gotten a check from this channel, you're new here, you need to get a check right tonight. Start with the simplest check, and then get another check, and then get a check thereafter. Don't expect the first check to be a home run. You may get a major check thereafter. Here's an example. For example, you should get that utility bill. Let's do one of them. Get the water bill paid right now. $800, $900. Get it done right now. The next day, get the electric bill. Then the day after that, get the heating oil bill. Then the day after that, get the rent from one organization. Then get the rent from another organization. Meantime, you should already have the A, B, and C applications in right away. You should get them in right away. And finally, then once you start getting checks one after another from this channel, look and see, okay, can I go back and get money from this item? Can I go back and get money from this item? It's a very, very big topic I talk about on this channel. Getting money and then getting more money on top of that. The oil industry, really not solved. The wheat and grain industry, featured on this channel for months. I haven't featured in the last few days. Not solved. There's a wheat shortage because of that Vladimir Putin invasion of Ukraine. That wheat shortage is going to continue to spiral out of control. Not solved. There's a lot of things not solved in this economy. And if everything continues to be unsolved, then guess what happens? Things erode. Housing goes down, auto goes down, travel and leisure goes down, and then the price to buy consumer products surging higher is still not sustainable. Salaries have not increased enough, and that means that collectively, it's just not a good situation. But again, what I don't want you to be tied up with is the language of what it's called. Do not sit back and hear the word recession and wonder, oh, we're not in the recession, we're not there yet, we're still fine. No. I don't want you to be tied up with the word recession. I don't want you to be tied up on the housing market, it is crashing, whether it affects you or not, or the stock market crasher, it's crashed as well. You're going to have different industries crashing at different times, number one. Number two, the full storm out to sea, it has a lot of different parts. We have the labor market, which we saw from Elon. We have the gas industry, in which we're trying to see whether there's a deal on the gasoline. We have the collective industry of Wall Street at issue. And different industries will impact you at different times. The takeaway is, again, very simply, get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Get it tonight. Do not wait. Become a member. What are you doing? Become a member. Tell your friends and family. Come on over. Become a member. It is June 6, 2022. And the state of this U.S. economy today is whatever it is, if you would think it's good or mediocre. But by September 6, 2022, it's going to be dramatically worse. It's going to be dramatically worse. And by November 2022, it's going to be even more worse. Why did I use those 3 dates just then? Why? Because one, you're not going to wait for Build Back Better Act to become law by September or sending out checks in September. No. You're not going to wait to November for the midterm elections. You're not going to wait. No. You're not going to wait for any pot of money because there's money available right now. And one thing we absolutely do not know is whether there will be a stimulus package for the recession of 2023. That alone is reason for you to say, well, we're definitely probably going to have a very bad 2023 and 2024. I better grab these checks right now. I better grab every check right now because, it's uncertain whether it's going to be horrible, this U.S. economy, by September, but it's absolutely going to be bad by next year. So I better grab those checks and keep them in the bank. And that is what's important at issue. You can't pass up cash that's available on the table and thinking everything is going to be rosy for you. I don't want to paint anything too bleak, but I got to tell you, I got to be frank on where this economy is going. And I've been accurate throughout the last 2 years. Let's recap. Back in spring of last year, I said the U.S. economy will have an 8% inflationary rate in December 2022. What happened is it had an 8% inflation rate in December 2021. Excuse me, December 2021. Then I said that inflation rate is going to stay at where it is and it's not going to come down. It has not come down. I then said that the inflationary environment will not be solved by Jay Powell's rate hikes of interest rates. Hasn't happened either. And tonight I also said that the housing, auto, travel are all going to slowly erode more. They have as well. Finally, my predictions about recession starting next year, I'm going to stay on point with them. I'm not changing. I'm not going to also change the importance of you to get that check. Get that check tonight. A forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Get it right now. Become a member. Under the video, that is that membership link. Join right now. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. And tonight, get that incredible newsletter. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, the programming continues throughout the night. Do not miss any show. Evenings LALATE at 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock is Countdown. 7 o'clock is Tree and Stimulus. 8 o'clock is Extra. 9 o'clock is Sunset. And then our shows continue throughout the night until we return tomorrow morning with early mornings at 4 a.m. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, tonight, God bless. Get those checks. Become a member. Don't wait. Stay informed, stay focused. Get every pot of money that's available to you. And stay with LA for more.